But I think the main things is at the end of the day, volleyball is volleyball. It's in the same 9x9 court, and the rules are the same. So we. Is that on the back of your shirt?
Yeah, it's on the back of the shirt.
You did. A little free shout out for you. And it doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net. You need to still execute to the best of your ability if you want a chance to win.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the 9x9, the 81 square meters of the best volleyball content on the internet. My name is Everett Delorme, coming in from rainy Toronto, and that, as always, is Mr. Rob St. Clair coming in from. How is it over there, Rob? Is it sunny? Is it rainy? Is it cold? Is it snowy? I saw you at the Packers game this weekend. You were only wearing a sweater. That wouldn't have been possible in Toronto this weekend. It was a little too chilly for that.
Chicago's great. What's up, people? This is episode 97 of the 9x9.
97. It's the Connor McDavid episode.
The Connor McDavid episode, who you picked as an outside hitter on our video of drafting athletes from other sports to make a volleyball team. I still need to put up a poll to decide who won that, because I watched it back and I'm convinced that your draft was even worse than I thought it was in real time.
The comments are already like Everett won this one. So is the Discord saying the same thing. So you can go ahead and put up a poll all you want. You can go up, but you know what? I put in F1 drivers and I could still. Everyone in the comments like, oh, you could tell Rob's from America. He's only picking the American sports. Oh, Rob likes golf more than tennis and soccer. Oh, wow.
So that's true. Yep. That's absolutely right. So go watch that video if you haven't already. That came out last week. Also go watch our Champions League preview that we did with two-time defending Champions League winner Eric Shoji. That was an electric video, and we'll talk about men's Champions League later on in this episode. But Everett, first, we've got a lot of news coming out of Italy. A lot of news coming out of Italy. First and foremost, last week on Wednesday, or very shortly after Toronto lost 3-1 to Perugia, which, for the record, Toronto's not supposed to beat Perugia. Toronto actually taking a set from Perugia is about as much as you could ask for them. But after that loss, Toronto chose to fire their previous head coach, Vincenzo Mastrangelo, and they had a bit of an interim period the last week or so. But now we get to welcome back Travica to the Italian league.
Not that Travica, unfortunately, but his father will now be coaching Toronto.
Yeah, not that Travica. Ljubomir Travica, Dragon's father, is the new coach of Toronto. We'll see if he can save them from relegation. I don't know. I don't really have any takes about this. I don't know very much about Ljubomir Travica.
No, me neither. I'm just going to say this, but there seems to be a tendency of old white coaches who were once legends coming out of Italy, you know, and we can go down the list of these old guys, old white guys who have been there for a long time. My assumption is that it's not going to get much better, right? Like, my assumption is that this old guy who, when's the last time he coached? Like, do we have a volley box on this guy? Like,
I don't know.
Is he going to come in and make much of a difference for a team that's probably going to get relegated at this point? Probably not. But hey, good on him. Making a move this early is crazy. But Rob, there was an announcement made this morning that I don't know if it made the show notes of a certain other firing that happened that we actually talked about last week too.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about the women's league. Yeah, that definitely made the show. But
okay, good. But yeah, I don't know. Is Travica going to do anything? Probably not. If he's anything like his son, probably not.
Yeah, I think Toronto's got bigger problems than the coach. At least I assume. I'm not going to claim to have watched very many of their games this year because they're just not very good. And we'll talk about their game against Cisterna that people are talking about in the chat in a minute. But yeah, I was also very interested that this early in the season, like, what was it, 4 matches in, maybe 5 matches in, they decided that it was time to make that move. So yeah, we'll see if Papa Travica can turn that team around a little bit, because right now they are the only winless team in the league and they are in relegation position.
He last coached in Tunisia. And
interesting.
Other than 1 year in Krasnoyarsk in the Russian league, he's spent all of the 2010s coaching in like Qatar and a little bit of Iran. He hasn't coached anything relevant since 08 to 2011 when he was at Resovia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, a very curious hire. I just don't know about that one. So that's it for the Toronto coaching situation. We'll see what happens there. Also, Everett, last week we were confused on what the deal was with Ibrahim Lawani of Monza.
We have been all season. Yeah,
we've been confused kind of all season. He hasn't played. He didn't come off, like when Arthur Schwartz went to the bench that one match. It was Eric Lepke that came in for him at opposite. We're like, you have Lawani. He's a stud. Why isn't he playing? Turns out Ibrahim Lawani needs shoulder surgery. And he has been released by Monza and is going to go have that surgery. And I would presume that would keep him out the rest of the club season. So that at least is an answer of what the heck the deal is with Ibrahim Lawani.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's really too bad. We saw him come in last year at the end of the year. He was leading the SuperLega in scoring. He's a young, long, skilled prospect. One of those guys that it would be so terrible if he starts going down that injury train now, like a Zion Williamson, like a Politayev, like a guy who is just perpetually getting injured early. He needs to be healthy, right? For a guy like that, and go take care of that now, Ibrahim. You know, Superliga and all of that can wait. 2028 is really his run with the French national team, anyways.
For sure.
But still a bit of a heartbreak for Ibrahim Lawani and the rest of Monza. Having him and Schwartz as that 1-2 punch would have been real nice for a team that's been surging a little bit this year.
Yeah, so that's a bummer. We'll hopefully he is at the very least. Hopefully he's 100% by next club season, because I agree with you, Everett. I don't think he has really a shot at the French national team for this Olympics, but I think the next quad he could have a lot to do with that team. Speaking of injuries, there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of them in the Superliga. I mean, I wish that there was a place to catalog and list all of them for me so that I know who's hurt, what's hurt, and how long are they out. Because
we need like an IR. You know, there's no placing players on the IR in volleyball. You know, short list, long list. All of that stuff.
No, we need that. Of course, this is volleyball. We don't have that, but that would certainly help me out a lot, because I don't know when. Like, I look at stat sheets and nobody posts anything about their injuries on social media or on their websites or anything. There's just nothing. There's nothing to be found if you're in North America about injuries in the Superliga. But one thing that we do know, taking a look at Modena. Modena's got the injury bug a little bit. Their new libero Filippo Federici had knee surgery. He will be out. What I was seeing was at least 6 weeks. So it's definitely not season ending, but he's going to be out for a little while. And then Maxim Sapochkov, their opposite, is out as well. He got hurt about 2 games ago, and I don't know the details. I don't know how long he's going to be out for, because, of course, again, I can't find that information. But it's being rumored that Modena might make 2 moves. 2 veteran Italians, Nicola Pesaresi at libero and Giulio Sabi at opposite, might come to Modena to spell those 2 guys while they're out. That's not confirmed yet, but it's possible.
Just getting from bad to worse for Modena this year. Like, I was already not stoked about this roster. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Tavaskiba has been doing a decent job on the right side. Like, he's been coming in and putting up points and really filling in nicely, but he's not a Superliga with the right side, right? Like, teams are going to be able to key in on him so much quicker than a guy like Sapochkov. Is Giulio Sabi the answer? Probably not for Modena. And I mean, as I start to look at how this is progressing, I wonder if this team is even a playoff team for this year, Rob. Like,
woof.
Like, it's starting to get real bad. Like, now you're really, really going to be banking on Rinaldi and Walterhana to come up and score for you. Right, because like Sabi's not going to be putting up, like, if he puts up 15, that's probably going to be a good game for him. So yeah, I think this might spell the end for some of our Modena fans already for this season.
Woof. I mean, I agree. If you're a playoff team, you do not want to be relying on Giulio Sabi to score points for you. That is 100% for sure. But I mean, they still have Bruno. They still have Juan Torena and Rinaldi. They still have good middles like that. That should be a team that can figure it out. Hopefully, at least till Shaposhkov can get back. I do not know the details. I guess we'll see if any of these clubs actually post any legit information that's official. We'll obviously cover it on the show. Speaking of older Italian guys potentially coming back to the Italian league, there's a very strong rumor about Michele Baranovic, the setter who's been at Cisterna the past few years. This year, he and Pesaresi and Giulio Sabi, all those guys have all been playing for Hejbar Pazardzik in Bulgaria. But it seems like something really is going on with that club, because there's a mass exodus of those old Italian guys who are in Bulgaria playing for Hejbar that I don't know what the deal is, but a lot of them are looking to come back to the Superliga, including Baranovic, who might go back to Cisterna, who he's set the last couple of years. And that, honestly, I always liked him. I always liked him on Cisterna. He did a really good job with that team. And a rumor that's spinning off of that is that Davide Saita, who is the current setter of Cisterna, might, if Baranovic comes back, then Cisterna might ship him out and maybe go to Toronto, because Angel Trinidad has not been good this year, and they feel like they might need somebody to come in and set that team, and it would help them with the foreigner limit. So we'll keep an eye on that move as well. But yeah, something's going on with Hejbar Pazardzik in Bulgaria, and now all of a sudden all these players are kind of available.
It kind of seems to be the time of the year for that. I know, I was speaking to some Canadian guys recently, and I'm not going to name any names because they asked me not to, but there's like 7 Canadian guys on this team in Azerbaijan who's actually playing in the Challenge Cup today. None of them have gotten paid yet this year. And so they're basically telling me that they're all probably going to go play these Challenge Cup matches, get some film, and then dip set because they haven't been paid. So I wonder if it's kind of the same issue in Bulgaria with Pazardzik.
Well, you got to get paid. If you're not getting paid, then that is not acceptable. Maybe that's what's going on there too. I don't know.
It's just so weird that we're having all of this. It's almost like the NBA or the NFL or the NHL, where there's these mid-season trades almost.
Well, that's cool. Like that's fun for sports, but in volleyball, it's just so disorganized and so random and not documented, and we just don't know what the heck is going on, and it's annoying. Like, we wish that we could give you guys more clarity on what these situations are, but we don't know. We can't. I looked for a long time to find legit documentation for all these moves, and it's just like rumors on Italian news boards. That's all I've got.
Yeah, I mean, we know how the state of European volleyball and how they view technology. It's always pretty interesting. Even talking to Shoji last week, he was like, "I'm always trying to get Zach to like post more, and they're doing better, but it's still not as much as I would like." One thing that like all it seems that we're doing in the Italian league, and this goes for everything, like even up to Travizza, I'm getting hired. Italian league volleyball just seems to love just like warming up these like warm leftovers in the microwave and just passing them around. Right? Like Thanksgiving dinner for the Italian SuperLega is literally just like a bunch of old Tupperwares in the fridge that we're going to throw together, and we're just going to pass around the bottom teams while all of the top teams get all of the good stuff, get all the fresh stuff. It's like the kids' table down here where they're just getting all the scraps. Like it is, yeah. Like throw something new in there a little bit, please, guys. Come on.
I don't understand why they're not. Why nobody's willing to do something new. Hire a coach under the age of 60, God forbid. Like especially if you're Toronto. Like, what do you have to lose? Your team is not good. Like, changing coaches can only do so much. Like, what do you think you're going to solve hiring like a 75-year-old guy who's been coaching in the Middle East for the past 15 years? That's not going to do anything. Go out and find some young up-and-coming volleyball mind in your country, because there surely is no shortage of them. This is Italy we're talking about.
Italy has the most like the most statistician, the most data volley people. Like, it has the most volleyball professionals per capita in the world, bar none. Like, I have no doubt about that. Like,
Why?
if you go down PlusLiga teams, you go down Everett League teams, Super League teams, not only head coaches, assistant coaches, therapists, everything. Italy is the leader. Empower some of these people. Right, Bernardi doesn't need another job. Travizza doesn't need another job. These old guys don't need new jobs, right? But once again, it's the boomers and the trench coats who run these clubs who have no idea, who keep on making these decisions.
Silly. Oh man. All right, you want to talk about some actual volleyball? We've got actually 2 rounds of SuperLega to catch up on.
Yes, I absolutely do, because you're right, Rob. There was a Wednesday round last week, and then a Sunday. Wednesday was pretty normal. I would say, like, there was nothing that really popped out at me. The Monza Verona game was from last week,
right?
So that would have been like the only one. I did tune in to Trento versus Milano for a little bit, but it was just all Trento. They were really good this week. Trentino was really, really good this week with 2 solid wins against 2 of the M teams who are now there's only really 2 M teams. Modena is no longer a relevant M team. I'm saying it here right now.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm still not as convinced by Milano yet. I know they had a terrible start to the year without their starting setter, but I'm not ready to put Milano above Modena yet. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, this week, last Wednesday, because Verona versus Monza was played about a week before that. We already talked about that match on the show. This was chalk. I mean, Modena beat Padova, obviously. Lube 3-dong Catania, obviously. Piacenza over Cisterna, Perugia over Toronto, and Trentino over Milano. That's chalk across the board. So I don't know if there's that much to talk about. Do you have anything, Everett, that you want to bring up about any one of these matches? Or can we move on to the weekend? I think we can.
Yeah, let's just move on straight to the weekend, because that's where things. I mean, it was a little bit of spiciness here. You have to admit. Let's start with that Perugia Piacenza game.
Oh yeah,
that's where you have to start it all. Once again, Piacenza shows that when something's on the line, that when the big guns are in front of them, they can show up and they can play and they can be amongst the best, because this one they really went toe to toe on this one.
Oh, totally. I mean, what was it, like 20-18 in the 5th? This couldn't have gotten closer, and overtime in the 4th as well that Perugia won. This was a reverse sweep, by the way.
Yes, thank goodness.
Piacenza did go up 2-0, and Perugia figured it out. And I got to give our boy Jesus Herrera a lot of credit. He came in off the bench for Bentar in the 2nd set and ended up being really good. You got a good Herrera game, 13 for 19, 2 blocks and an ace. So good for him. Still no Wilfredo Leon for Perugia, and nothing else really jumped out to me for them. But Piacenza hanging in this match, still no Yuri Romano, didn't even play, and a very bad performance, uncharacteristically bad, from Lucarelli. And Francesco Recine had to come in for him in the 5th set and was actually very good. And they still hung in this match very well. Piacenza, they honestly probably should have won this match.
Yeah, I thought so too. And that's where the mental toughness and fortitude of Piacenza, like, I question it. You know, like, Lube was able to go up against Perugia without Leon, and they were able to capitalize in the regular season and get that win and move forward. I know Piacenza's missing some guys, but like they had them on the ropes. They were up 2-0. That's where a team like a Lube, a team like a Perugia is really going to, like, stomp down and power back and push through. For me, the story early on in this season, Rob, for Perugia has been Kamil Semeniuk. Right?
Oh yeah.
This is a guy that we wrote off last year. This is a guy that, everyone was calling him a bust. Ronnie, I'm mostly looking at you because you were the loudest, the loudest of them all. And he has come back, and there was this interesting little thing that Semeniuk did on his Instagram this past week where, he was answering fans, and now it was all in Polish and Italian. And it was all in his stories, so I couldn't even, like, highlight it and, like, translate it like I used to or do. But there was one question about Lorenzano, and there's a picture of him and Lorenzano kind of, like, arm in arm talking. This man seems so much more comfortable playing underneath Lorenzano than he ever did against Anastasi. Like, it has been a 180-degree switch for Semeniuk, and I absolutely love it. Just continuing to prove the haters wrong. And I mean, if he's locked and loaded like this coming into an Olympic year, that's going to be really, really good for Poland.
It is good to see Kamil Semeniuk playing the way that he did 2 years ago, his last year in Zaksa when he was brilliant. And this was the Andrea Anastasi revenge game.
Yeah.
Anastasi now coaching for Piacenza. Semeniuk was the most vocal about his issues with Anastasi last year. Now they get Lorenzetti in, who's obviously a better coach. That's not even debatable. And Semenya goes out and goes 16 for 32 with 2 aces and a block against his old coach, and was probably Perugia's best player top to bottom. So definitely good for him. Definitely.
Perugia's. It was a good blocking game all around too. Like I thought it was a solidly competed game. It was actually really fun to go through on Volumetric as well. I want to talk about Herrera, because I think that for Herrera, I don't know if Herrera respected Rich Licky. You know, like I feel like Herrera always viewed himself as better than Rich Licky. I don't know if that's the case with Ben Tara, right? Because Ben Tara can do what Herrera can do, but arguably better. Like he's just as athletic. He's just as strong. He can hit just as well out of system. Like he can bomb serves. So I feel like you know, as we know, Herrera's a little bit crazy. Concepcion confirmed it for us. And that man is coming off the bench like looking for blood. Like absolutely looking for blood. So this may actually work out really, really well for Perugia if you just can make sure he doesn't start a fight in practice at some point. But if you get 2 opposites who are looking for blood for Perugia, that's really good.
For sure, yeah. And Herrera made the most out of his chance in this one. Again, he was very good off the bench. And I am very convinced that Bentara is the guy at opposite for this team. I think he's going to continue to start. I think that Super Cup that he played, and then the run after that, those couple matches when he was hitting 500 or better every game, was very convincing. But everybody needs to go to the bench every so often. Everybody struggles, and everybody needs depth, especially Perugia. So when Herrera gets his chance, to see him play well was great.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Platnitsky. I just love watching this.
Oh, he's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, he wasn't even that good this match. He got blocked 6 times. But his serving is just so insane. His range and his options from the service line are ridiculous. Cut, hard, sideline to sideline, like tailing 4 meters from left to right. Like it's insane the way he can move the ball around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just the depth of this team, it continues to surprise me, but it's really like, I don't know if they would have won this game last year. Right?
Yeah,
that to me is the big thing, is I don't know if they win this game last year.
Yeah, you talked about like mental maturity or mental fortitude, and this is the sort of match that Andrea Anastasi coached teams lose. Mm-hmm. And sure enough.
Yeah. You see it, like you saw it in this game too, like as it went down the wire, as he gets more and more animated, he gets more and more into it. And Lorenzetti's just on the sideline, just calm, cool, collected. He's just a cucumber out there.
Right? Lorenzetti's great. What an awesome hire that was by Perugia. Man.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if he's able to match with Cerci. Remember, Anastasi was perfect until February last year too. So weirder things can happen.
Great point. Next game we want to talk about, big one that we hyped up last week, Trentino versus Monza. Big sort of prove-it game for Monza against the only previously undefeated team in the league. And sure enough, Trentino remains atop the Superlega. They are 6-0. Nice 3-1 win here for the defending champs. Kamil Ryklitsky was awesome. And I've been harsh on Tricycle Man in the past. But I mean, 21 for 29, 3 errors, a block and an ace like that's brilliant. He was automatic, and I gotta give it to him. And Micheletto, very good as well. Yeah,
72% of hitting for Ridgely right there. He was unreal. And this one to me, it seemed like I don't think Monza played exceptionally bad. I mean, even like if you look at their hitting too, they hit 55%. They only made 4 errors on the day. But Trentino was just really good. Trentino was really good. They were in that Trentino mode where they're controlling the pace of play. They were controlling everything. And I'm a little bit disappointed. I did think that Monza was going to be a good enough serving team to put them out of system, to put them out of rotation, but that didn't seem to be the case. No errors for Monza on the afternoon or for Trentino. And it just seemed that Trentino was able to run whatever they wanted. Like Spertoli was comfortable after all afternoon. He was never really under any pressure. right now, Rob, in my I would have Monza as that fourth place team behind. Ooh, but they beat Lube. That's the thing. So if I would slot it in, it's tough to say. But Trentino and Perugia are definitely at the top of this league, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no aces for Monza. You meant to say 0 aces, 15 errors. 4 aces, 19 errors for Trentino. Yeah, 0 aces for a team of Monza's caliber is a little weird. Like Steven Maran, Takahashi, and Arthur Schwartz should, and then even Galassi every so often should be able to put up more pressure than that. And generally, Arthur Schwartz seems to be going through a little bit of a slump from the service line. He hasn't served the ball particularly well the last couple games, but Ren Takahashi was pretty good here, passed the ball great. Stephen Marr was pretty good here. Offensively, Monza was just fine. It was just Trentino playing that very Trentino and also Italian national team like style, like you said, where they just completely control pace and control the flow of that game and bend Monza to their own play style instead of the other way around. And that was the difference for me.
Yeah, I felt like Arthur really wasn't on his best, you know.
He got benched for Lepke again, and Lepke at opposite went 7 for 13 with no errors.
That's crazy. That's crazy that he's just coming off the opposite. And he's like, it's been a year of having, you know, left side guys play in the opposite position with him and Dev Skiba. Doing the same, and of course we saw Gironi last week as well. But yeah, I think for Arthur it's going to take a little bit. Like he's not used to being a starter, and he's really only been a starter since like September with the Canadian national team. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time to have a little bit of that consistency. I mean, that's what we saw from him last year. He had that like 5 or 6 game stretch where he was averaging well over 20 points a match, and then had a couple of games where he was scoring underneath 10. So I think it's bound to happen at some point.
Yeah, he'll get there. Somebody is saying that Arthur Schwartz got a red card in this match, and I did not know that.
I didn't see it. I was not watching and at that point, but I did hear about it. I should go back and check.
Well, red cards are always spicy. I don't know how I missed that one, but
Arthur Schwartz is a pretty fiery guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him yell. I've seen him yell at refs in like men's tournaments. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised especially if he's having a bit of a bad game, you know, just a little bit of frustration, you know, the ref, get a red, no big deal.
Fair enough. Next on the list is Lube Civitanova 3-donging Modena. Modena's missing 2 starters, but still nothing they could really do against Lube this time. Lube hit 55% as a team, 4 aces to only 7 errors. A very good serving game for Lube as far as keeping the ball in the court. I was definitely impressed by that. Let's see. Alex Nikolov, excellent, 11 for 19. Ivan Zaitsev,
phenomenal.
He
had one line swing. Nikolov had one line swing. Yeah, he had one line swing that was it rivaled the Falcos from the summer against the Dutch. It was massive. And of course, whoever was commentating paid no mind to it. I'm pretty sure it was Lucas Clayton. It was just so frustrating. I was sitting there on the couch with my head in my hands being like, oh my goodness, Nikolov, that was filthy. And of course, no one even talked about it. But in this one, Modena doesn't there was never a point where I felt like Modena was even threatening.
Nope.
You know, there was never a point where I felt like Lube was under stress. It was just a little rough all around for Modena. And I mean, I see them in these games, and I don't know if Giulio Sabi is an upgrade from Vlad Daviskiba on the right side.
He's definitely not. I would absolutely keep starting Daviskiba on the right. He's certainly capable. I think he's doing a good enough job. I mean, this time 16 for 33, 6 errors, but 3 aces and 2 blocks, and getting the most volume. He's playing out of position and is playing perfectly fine. He's relatively consistent. He's contributing in different areas best he can. Even pass some balls. I would absolutely continue to start him over Sabi. You just need another option in case of another injury or in practice or whatever. So I get the move, but I have nothing wrong with the way Daviskiba has been playing. But Osmani Wantarena, not good, 6 for 17 with 5 errors. Tommaso Rinaldi, not good, 7 for 18 with 4 errors. That's where it's going to come down to for Modena, is outside hitter production.
this is what I'm saying. And like the passing numbers have been all right for Modena this year. But I just don't see this like getting much better, right? Like I think you have a Ronaldo who's pretty much at his ceiling, and you have a declining Wantahen on this roster. Like who else do you go to? You can't have Daddy in every position.
I wish you could. I wish you could. Yeah, I mean, Lube's better than Modena. There's not that much more to say about it. Yeah, this was 25-20, 19-20. That's not competitive.
Yeah, keep it moving. Honestly, it was it was kind of a snooze fest this weekend in the SuperLega. Not too much happening.
Well,
other than that Perugia PS.
Cisterna versus Toronto was very competitive. Now, I'm not going to claim that I watched this game, but it is two teams that were very competitive, and Toronto had just fired their coach, and they seemed like they had a lot to play for. And however, they went up 2-0 and got reverse swept and lost 17-15 in the fifth, and definitely blew it in many ways. Still, man, Kyle Russell not having a good statistical start to the season. It's a bummer. It is a bummer.
It really is.
He does not look good. Jeff Jendrick was bad this game. Lorenzo Sala, the Italian opposite, came off the bench and wasn't so good. Filippo Alonso was bad as usual. Jose Miguel Gutierrez was not very good, 10 for 25 with 8 errors. Like, just a lot of bad volleyball on both these teams. And I don't understand really what Cisterna was doing in the first 2 sets that they needed 5 to come back and win this thing. Because, I mean, Teo 4 was fine, 16 for 34. Ramon Farragut was phenomenal, 13 for 19 with no errors. Like, how did they even lose those first 2 sets?
Probably just asleep. They had F.A. Byram on, and it looks like he was bad through the first 2 sets. 4 for 8. And he was passing absolutely terribly in the first 2 sets, only 9% positive. Remember when Burkai was trying to convince us that F.A. Byram was like better than Lepke?
I do remember this. I remember it very well. Come on. I just told Burkai in the Discord the other day to stop talking about F.A. Byram until he can play 3 straight matches without getting hurt or without getting benched. And this time he got benched. I mean, I do like F.A. Byram, but he was not good this game. Pavle Peric off the bench was pretty good. Didn't pass great, but that's not really his job.
Go with the Bulgarian over the Turkish guy for sure.
Peric is Serbian, Everett. You got to stop making that mistake, buddy.
Sorry, Serbian. Why do I think he's Bulgarian?
I don't know.
It's been because we've seen, like, the first time I saw him was in a Serbian jersey too, but when I picture him, it's in the white Serbian jersey. Maybe it's, I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I gotta stop making that.
Figure it out. Alexander Nedeljkovic, another Serbian, 5 blocks. Good for him. I don't really have anything to talk about here except that Toronto had their chance, a very good chance at their first win of the year, and up 2-0, they lost 25-18, 25-13 those next 2 sets.
Yeah, I mean,
that's bad.
Toronto is the worst team in the league right now. Without
they are. They're worse than Catania.
On paper and in the standings.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Catania, the other team that is in contention for worst team in the league, actually has been decently competitive. They lost 3-1 to Milano. I have really nothing to say about that game. But one game that we definitely need to talk about is Padova beating Verona. Radostin Stoichev, ladies and gentlemen, give our resident King Stooge a round of applause for somehow managing to lose a rivalry game, because this is a derby game. These two teams are very close to each other geographically. Somehow managing to lose and allow Padova 3 points against them? What are we doing? Why does Toronto get to fire their coach 6 matches in, and Stoichev still has a job?
Well, Rob, because passing and defense are just really not that important, right? It doesn't matter if you pass 32% positive and only 15% perfect. It just doesn't matter all that much, right? It doesn't. First contact doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. Do we have a good setter? No, we don't.
Nope. So
second contact doesn't matter either. Let's just put it up into the sky. We'll see what happens. We've got a couple guys who can jump really high, and we'll go from there. Because, like, it's really bad when you look at the Padova numbers, and I'm like, these Padova's numbers aren't good. Like, they passed 17% positive, and then and they're perfect. And then you go down to the Verona numbers, and they're way worse.
They're worse, much worse.
Way worse. And once again, no Nomori Keita for this one. Nikola Jovovic was on the bench. They went with Lucas Spirito instead. Amin was all right. He was 15 for 32. One error, didn't get blocked. So that's very good. That's very good.
And same with the Rock, like setting Rock Mozic 19 for 32 with 2 errors. Like that's spectacular. That's above 50% efficiency. And they were never really even competitive in this game. I mean, the one set that they won 25-13, and that kind of inflated the numbers. But otherwise, like, this was Padova's game. Like, Padova completely controlled this game. There's a point in the chat about Padova's culture and Tommy Blizzard actually said it on the SuperLega preview show that we did a few weeks ago, that to never underestimate Padova. They always seem to create a whole that's greater than the sum of its parts, and it couldn't be more opposite than what Verona's looking at. The sum of Verona's parts should be a semifinal team.
Yeah,
and now here they are losing 3-1 to Padova. I mean, it wasn't even close. Padova 10 aces, 9 errors. Such bad reception from Verona, just embarrassingly bad.
I mean, Daz Verona did not have a good day. He was 10 for 29. He passed 9% perfect. He did get an ace, though. But then when you're the libero getting aced 5 times for Verona, that's just really bad. I wonder if Stouchev is just standing on the side and be like, don't worry about the serve. Don't worry. Just go get ready to play defense. No, sir, don't worry about the serve. Just go play defense. Just go.
How does that guy still have a job? I just don't understand. Matisse Desmet deserves a big shout out. The Belgian guy, 20 for 39, 5 errors. That's very, very good game. Passed the ball decently well, plus 3 aces, and another good game from Gabi Garcia Fernandez, 16 for 29, plus 4 aces and no service errors.
You love bringing up a good game for Gabi Garcia.
He was bad the previous one. He was bad the previous one.
You do not at all bring it up when he's dog shit.
Everett, talk about pot calling the kettle black, buddy. You have a huge red tinted blindness toward Canadian.
I literally brought it up how it wasn't one of Schwartz's best games today. That was literally a conversation that I talked about. So it's not like I'm out here being like hiding him, right? You didn't bring up Padova's game on Wednesday when he was bad.
It's because we didn't talk about any of the games on Wednesday. Yeah, Gabi was bad in that one. He was good in this one. I'm happy about that. 20 points, 16 for 29, 4 aces. I mean, come on. Yeah. Hashtag Gianni to Verona. Fire Radostin Stoichev. Bring in somebody, probably Andrea Gianni. I think he would be good. Anybody would be an upgrade over this Bulgarian idiot. I'm sick of watching him. I'm sick of it.
Once again, just like bring in like the old guys, just like old leftover mashed potatoes from like 8 Thanksgivings ago, just being passed around the SuperLega. Looking at the standings here, Trentino still at the top. Perugia underneath him, Piacenza, Monza, Lube. I mean, I think that's like a pretty indicative top 5. Like yeah. I would agree with that. Maybe like some moving around depending on some wins and losses, but everything is all flattening out. Verona now is being the team that is worrying me the most right here, Rob. As a team that should be in the playoffs, currently not in the playoffs. Do we think they're going to figure it out?
Who, Verona?
Yeah.
There's one way for them to figure it out, and I just said it. It's fire Radostin Stoichev. That's it.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Getting the Nomori Keita back will help, but it's not like he's a good serve receiver unless you want to put him on the right side. And which, I mean, I could see it going either way.
If you had Shapozhkov still there, maybe, but no, he's injured and in Modena in the Modena hospital right now.
All right, that's it for the SuperLega. The one headline this week coming out of the Lega Volley Femminile, Everett, is something that we talked about last week. That was Julio Velasco getting hired as the new head coach of the Italian women's national team. And both Busto Arsizio, the club that he coaches in the Lega Volley Femminile, and the Lega Volley Femminile itself, like the league, both agreed completely that they were going to do away with this rule where you are not allowed to coach both club and the Italian national team. However, The Italian Federation did not agree with this, and because the Italian Federation hired Julio Velasco and is not willing to repeal the rule that you can't do both, Julio Velasco had no choice but to step down as the coach of Busto Arsizio, as announced today. And Busto Arsizio's press release was scathing. They are pissed off about this, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
I think it's just more buffoonery from the boomers. It's just more buffoonery from the people in trench coats to be like, well, we wrote it in ink, so we can't change the rule. It just can't be. It just can't be. Well, why not? Oh, it just can't. I'm pretty sure it's stuff like this why like Italy's young people are leaving in droves just because of these boomerish decisions being made on all levels. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like you went out as a federation and hired someone that you knew already had a job, right? That was already getting paid by an organization, by a federation that falls underneath your wing and underneath your umbrella. And everyone else was okay with it, except for you, right? Except for you, right? It just shows why like these decisions in Italian volleyball don't happen, because they just make terrible decisions like this one. You are penalizing a team because you are stealing their coach.
Right. That's the thing.
That's exactly what's happening.
You
are penalizing a team for, it very much reminds me of like this is once again Italian fans, but like Ferrari's race of the F1 race in Vegas weekend. Track's not set up. They get nailed by a manhole cover and they get a penalty. Like, what is going on with these organizations that just make these willy-nilly decisions on their own and then punish their members for it? It's absolutely ridiculous.
It's absurd. And Italy is the only federation in the world that I know of that has this rule in place. Every other federation, as far as I know, allows their coaches to coach both club and national team. For God's sakes, my national team, John Spirall coaches at UCLA half the year. He coaches at university. And that's like more of his primary job. That's where most of his income comes from. But he still coaches the national team and does a good job. Like Daniele Santarelli, coaches club, is the best coach in the world. Giovanni Guidetti, coaches club, is a very good national team head coach. Stefano Lavarini, coaches club, is a very good national team head coach. Why? And all of these coaches, Italy, are yours. These are Italian men who are coaching elsewhere because your federation it has this stupid rule in place that prevents your best coaching talent from staying at home to coach your own country. What are we doing? What are we doing? And now Busto Arsizio has to flounder the rest of the year and find a coach and try not to get relegated. And I feel bad for them. They got screwed here.
They did absolutely get screwed here. And that, like, if I'm Velasco, I'm pissed too. Because the Italian job is not paying nearly as well as the as Busto job, right? Like you're not getting paid nearly as well. So it's just figure it out.
Yeah, I hate this. I hate this, and I feel very bad for Busto Arsizio. Here are the Lega Volley Femminile standings. Sure enough, Busto Arsizio in 11th, and not going up anytime soon. And remember, there are 2 teams that will get relegated out of the Lega Volley Femminile this year, with 14 in the league. Here are the results from over the weekend. I mean, Busto got 3-donged by Firenze. Like, I just feel so bad for that club.
But I mean, like they didn't do themselves any favor either by the roster that they put together.
No, it's not a good team. It's not a good team.
It's not a good team. So maybe in some ways, if you're Velasco, you're maybe a little relieved. But it was just bad all around. But looking through some of these results here, Rob, Roma continuing to win, to pick up good. Like this is a team coming back, making some good pushes, beating Casalmaggiore, which was a playoff team last year.
Right. Yeah, I'm impressed with Roma to come back. 2 years ago they played Lega Volley Femminile Division 1. They got relegated. Come back this year, and now what are they? Are they in playoff position? They are. They're in 8th. That's very impressive.
Right there. Yeah,
very impressive. But however, like we previewed on the show last week, Everett, there weren't going to be very many good matches this weekend. I mean, all the good teams got to beat up on inferior teams like Novara, Scandici, Malonza, and Conegliano all got very easy wins. And I feel bad for not giving the Lega Volley Femminile the coverage that I think it deserves, but there just haven't been that many good games. There's just not that much good volleyball to follow.
No, there really hasn't been that, and there's also not that much intrigue in the middle of the pack in the Lega Volley Femminile either. And I mean, like the Roma Castelmaggiore match was probably the best one, but also otherwise you're looking at a bunch of three dongs, right? Like even Chieri versus Trentino and Scandici versus Cuneo, even though those games went to 4, like those are not 4-set games. No, like those aren't great games to watch.
No, Trentino's terrible too. Like I'm surprised at that because they also got relegated 2 years ago, came back, and now I mean it's the same club as the Trentino men who just won the Scudetto, and they clearly have not been able to replicate that success on the women's side. And is there any clubs, Rob, that are international, like legit in both men and women? Like what? I think Monza is the only one that I can think of.
Yeah.
Right.
Moscow.
Yeah, maybe in Russia. Yeah, none of the Turkish teams have both, other than maybe Fenerbahce.
Fenerbahce would be the only one, but men aren't great right now. They were in the past.
We'll actually talk about Fenerbahce later in the show because they actually got the Fenerbahce men got 2 really good wins this week.
Yeah, they did. You're right. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'd love to see one day like one club win the Champions League. I think that'd be awesome.
Our Polish friend Peter is Rzeszów, like is that the same club? Resovia on the men's side and Rzeszów on the women's. If that's the same club, then that definitely counts. I'm not aware that it's the same club. I thought it was just 2 clubs in the same city.
Yeah. He says not sure it's the same entity. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. Fenerbahce obviously is that, and that's a good one. All right. Honestly, I have nothing else about the Italian Women's League. I'm sad for Busto Arsizio, and I think this is malpractice from the Italian Federation. It sucks.
Malpractice.
It sucks. It sucks.
Oh, R.I.P. Velasco.
Figure it out. And like he's probably making less money too to go coach.
That's exactly what I said. Like the contract for Busto is going to be way more than what the national team contract is. And I mean, like you're also like this is a man who's coming in and saving your bacon at the last minute too. Why are you treating him like this? A man who's a legend for your federation. Why are you treating him like this? Why are you treating your members like this? It's absolute garbage. It's the type of stuff I expect from boomer organizations, though. So, all right, Rod, let's Italy's pissing me off. Let's move on to Europe and the Champions League. Women's Champions League also underway last week. As we look through, really no surprise. If there's a Turkish team, an Italian team, or a Polish team, they're probably getting the W. Actually, I don't think Lucana is the only non-Turkish, Italian, or Polish teams to get a W last week. They beat Blaj out of Romania in 5, though. Other than that, you're just looking at pretty much nothing across the board.
Again, I feel bad for not being as excited about Women's Champions League, but it's just not good. Like there's just through 2 weeks, there have been 20 matches played, and I haven't watched a single one of them, and I don't feel like I've been missing anything. None of the good teams have played anybody else that's good.
You can tell that the fans think so too, because whenever it's the good team at home, there's no one in the crowd.
No one goes.
Like, why would you go watch, if you're a Rzeszów fan, why would you go watch this team play Asterix Avo? And yeah, I mean, just poop on them in the last set, 25-14.
And probably I know Conegliano and Malonza have largely played the bench in their Champions League games so far too.
Yes.
Like it sucks. It sucks. Yeah. However, week 3 is going to be good. Whenever that is. I think they have a week off, and then the first week of December, I think. So not the first week of December, but a week from today, next Tuesday and into next Wednesday, then we get good games in Women's Champions League. So finally. So we'll talk about them on next week's show. But I mean, looking ahead, Vakif Bank versus Malonza, that's sick. Scandici versus Idzaja Basha, Awesome. Rzeszów versus Corneliano should be competitive. Le Canet versus Łódź, like that should be competitive too. Like that's this is more like it. Why do we have to swim through 20 matches of garbage to get to this point next week when we have matches that we want to watch? I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, Rob, before we watch that, the men do get kicked off tomorrow, which, like, already looking at the men's lineup for tomorrow, like, there's matches that I'm interested on, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it's awesome. It's so much better week 1.
Lundberg versus České Budějovice. I think that one's going to be very, very interesting in a very, very interesting Pool D. Piacenza versus Halkbank, like that
must watch.
To me, like that's absolute must watch right off the beginning. My question is, Rob, I sent you a link this morning from the Lega Volley. Do we want to discuss that?
Yeah, we should at least bring it up. So apparently, as was announced by the Italian SuperLega, like this was the men's SuperLega Instagram posted this morning, that at the very least in Italy, because I haven't seen it anywhere else, at least in Italy, the rights to Champions League have been picked up by some streaming service called DAZN. And I've never heard of this. We don't have this in the US. DAZN?
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. I've never heard of this. We don't have it in the US. But I guess there's a new broadcasting rights owner for all CEV stuff in Italy. And I don't really know the details of this or if it's going to spread any wider from that. So if you need ways to watch Champions League or CV Cup or Challenge Cup, whatever, get in the Volleyball Source Discord. We'll help you out. But I'm keeping my eye on this just in case the more worldwide distribution of Champions League changes. Because right now, as of today, the CEV is still promoting their YouTube channel and Eurovolley TV as the way to watch these things. So I don't really understand what's going on here. If we have any Italians in the chat, let us know if this matters to you.
Yeah, DAZN is Rob, as I was saying, like DAZN is really big. Like for a long time. Now they have the rights to. Right now they have the exclusive rights to the Women's Soccer Champions League. They used to have the rights to the Men's Soccer Champions League. I don't think they do anymore. And for a long time, they also had all of the rights outside of the US to the NFL. Like DAZN is a massive company, and I would say one of the biggest like pure sports streamers in the world.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see what's up. I just find it I would not put it past the CEV to make this a global partnership, and for them just to be pushing their YouTube until the last possible second. Like that to me would just spell CEV like upright and like up and down.
Figure it out, CEV. Whatever. This means nothing to me yet because I've never heard of DAZN. We do not have it in the US. So there's whatever they do, as long as they keep our ability in the US to watch these games, then I guess I'll be able to live with it. But going back to the schedule for this week, I mean, comparing this week 1 to women's week 1, it's night and day. Even Zaxa versus Olympiacos, like the very first game tomorrow, is a good match. Like that's a good match.
Yeah, we'll see.
No,
we'll see if those old guys for Olympiacos can do anything.
This is a good match. Like Zaxa is banged up. We talked to Eric Shoji about it last week. They are banged up, and it's in Poland. It's in Kędzierzyn-Koźle, so that's good. But Olympiacos is experienced. They've got guys who've been there before. I'm excited to watch Lundberg on the Champions League stage. That's cool. I'm very excited about Piacenza versus Halkbank. I think that's like looking at the pools. Pool C, we decided with Eric, is the pool of death, and that's going to be sick. I'm just so excited those teams are playing week 1. Then even Rzeszów versus Tours, like Resovia versus Tours is okay. Berlin versus Benfica is okay.
Tours is garbage. I think Berlin versus Benfica is going to be good.
Yeah, that's good.
I will actually, Rob, if you want to join me with me for this later today, I will be recording my Champions League tier list video. I have it all set up. So if you want to join me, or maybe make your own tier list of all the teams, you can do that. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a tier list for the Champions League teams.
Are you using the Ronnie Cuban Spike tier system?
Oh, it's already all set up. It's our. I can actually send you the tier maker link over on Discord. So yeah, it's up. It's ready to go. I mean, it's pretty solid. Like I've already like made my picks and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll be doing it later today, so you guys can check it out.
Love it. Yeah, tune into that, everyone. That'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, Champions League's awesome. No matter which side. I'm just happy that there are good matches to talk about in week 1 for the men. So this all starts tomorrow. The times on your screen there are my local time in like North American Central Time. So if you're in Eastern, you need to add an hour to that. But all these will be on the CEV YouTube channel, but there will be very few that are not behind a paywall. So get in the Volleyball Source Discord if you need ways to watch these. We'll help you figure it out.
Yeah, always come to the Discord first.
Always.
We won't point you in any stolen link.
No,
wow.
We would never do that.
We have plenty of people who will.
We would never do that. All right.
Never,
before we move on to the rest of the show, we want to talk about thatvolleyball.store. And one very important thing to point out is that volleyball.store has changed URLs. And it
has. I was trying to, Rob, as you know, I was trying to make a nice little asset. My computer did not like me using Photoshop today and shut down just as I was making it. But it is now thatvolleyballstore.com.
That's right.
Mostly because they wanted to charge me like $200 to renew the store under thatvolleyball.store. And then it showed me that volleyballstore.com was available for $17. So I made the economical choice, and we switched it over. And you will be seeing, and we're going to promote these in the Discord. You will be seeing we have some new designs out. We got a couple new designs, a couple new shirts. Yeah, it's going to be really good. So you use the code SPICY for 15% off your entire purchase. As I said, we got a few new designs. Sorry, we don't have them to show them for you. As Rob can attest, my computer there's a reason I'm using these headphones today, because my computer is just not cooperating with me. So use the code 50% off to use the code SPICY for 15% off of your entire purchase. Now, Rob, let's show the people what they like. This is all really want to see. Where is Daddy? Where was Daddy? Who is Daddy? Why is Daddy?
All good questions. All good questions centered around this man right here, Daddy Stankovic, our hero and the mascot of this channel. We love him. Daddy Stankovic likes to lurk around on the 9x9 and appear in one of our assets somewhere during the show. And you guys all have to try and find him and figure out where he's at. So last week, at the very end of the show, we were talking about the French league, the Marmara Spike League. And we were talking about this match of Chaumont beating Tours, the reigning champs, in a 3-dong. And as you see there, American Joe Worsley setting American Mike Marshman. Watching over the game from the official stand, there's Daddy Stankovic. There he is.
Do you think he'd be a good ref?
Oh, of course, he's good at everything he does, including playing guitar like John Mayer, because that's who he looks like.
He does look like John Mayer. That is always my number one. My number one look like. But it's actually a pretty good job there. I like that.
Thank you. So Daddy Stankovic was officiating this game. That's where he was last week, and our friends Brody Cox and Liam Gallagher found him right away. Good job finding Daddy Stankovic. 2 kind of new names in the Where's Daddy.
We got some new blood out there in
Love
the
it.
sweepstakes. I like that a lot.
So what you do is when you find Daddy Stankovic, you need to comment not in the live chat, but in the main YouTube comment section after the episode is over, the timestamp of where Daddy is at. So when you find him, note the timestamp, wait for the show to be over, comment in the main YouTube section the timestamp of where you found Daddy Stankovic, and you'll get a shout out on next week's show. Our favorite little segment.
Rob, you know what we need is that the V with the daddy in it. Like, I need you to make that and send it to me, and we're going to put it on a shirt.
Done. It will be done today.
Okay, great.
All right. Let's move on to the PlusLiga. A lot to talk about in the PlusLiga. They've played 2 games since last week, but first, a move that we're very excited about. Taylor Averill returns to the PlusLiga. He is not going to the Chinese league as was originally his plan. He is not wasting his season over in China. He is already right now in Poland with Projekt Warszawa. Taylor Averill to Warszawa is official. It was announced by the club. Taylor is there in Poland with the team because remember, Peter Nowakovsky and Stresko Lisinac are both injured for the majority of the first part of the year. So Taylor Averill is back to the PlusLiga, and I am so excited about this. This is a fantastic fit, and Warszawa is good. We'll talk about them in a minute. That is a good team, and Averill fits in great.
You know who I don't think is excited about going back to Poland? Taylor Averill. and not because of like the quality of the league or the town or the people or anything like that, but if you followed him on Instagram, first of all, electric.
You must.
It's a must follow in the volleyball world. His hate relationship with Poland's weather, aka the lack of sun there, is always hilarious. And that was like for his announcement video to announce that he was going back to Poland, he did a montage of all the best like lack of sun moments from last year in Poland. Now, I think this is a massive move. I actually did, Rob, I did an interview with TJ Sanders on Friday.
I'm excited about that.
That's about to come out. It's actually already uploaded on the YouTube on the back. So if you want a little sneak preview, you can go ahead. We chatted for like over 2 hours, and like we honestly could have continued chatting forever. But I feel like the next interview I want to do for the Volleyball Source podcast is Taylor Averill.
Oh yeah,
like, I think like this guy would just be electric to chat to. But love seeing him back. Like I thought, I'm happy he got this contract because I know he was going to China for the money. Right? We were talking back in West Virginia, he and I, and he was like, there's been some years where I've been making like not that much money to be a really good middle, to be one of the top middles in the league. So to me, if he's not going to China, that means he's got a bag to go to Warszawa.
Right. I agree. And there's been a lot of like the Chinese league is weird. I don't understand it very well, but I do know that the Chinese league is very prone to making gigantic changes at the last minute. And one thing that they did this year was they changed the calendar. And a lot of why the Chinese league was so appealing last year was that they paid a good amount of money for a very, very short season. It ran from like January to March, and it was very short. And now this year it's much, much longer, and they changed a bunch of things about it. So I agree with you. If Taylor was going to bail on that to come back to Poland, it was probably for a very, very good contract. So I'm happy for him. I'm excited to be able to watch him play real volleyball this club season.
Yeah, same here. I mean, there's a lot of people in the chat being like, well, like Warszawa has so many middles signed and their middles are already playing so good, but like, Taylor Averill has to be like he was the best middle in the league last year, right? Like he was definitely one of the best.
2 years ago, he was really, really good. Last year for Olsztyn, he was very good. But then, like in the French league, his last year there, he was the MVP of the league in the middle position.
Which is essentially unheard of.
This is a needle-moving move. Like this is a significant 100%. Move as far as middles go. And yeah, Yuri Semeniuk and Andre Verona have been playing very well for Warszawa, but Averill is by far
head and shoulders above those.
Head and shoulders, sure. Yes. Averill is by far the best healthy middle on that roster now that he's gotten there, and I'm curious to see how soon he gets some match time. Also, I think Warszawa's playing. I think they're playing CEV Challenge Cup, and they will be. They should be one of the favorites to win that tournament. It's probably them and Monza. That would actually be a really fun match.
Yeah, that would actually be a fun match. I'd once again, like it's those types of matches that I really want to see Rob St. Clair.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We won't.
CEV, figure it out. All right. So there's been 2 rounds of games in the PlusLiga to catch up on. The first was from like the middle of the week last week. Not a whole lot of surprises here. Resovia did need 5 sets to beat Stalnissa, and I was looking at the numbers for this, and I'm actually pretty impressed by Stalnissa. They're playing some decent ball, and they're doing it without Maciej Muzaj, which, I mean, my thoughts on him are pretty clear. But this Remigiusz Kapica guy at opposite for them has been pretty good, as has Michał Gierżot at outside. 19 for 30, 53% efficiency in this match, despite really bad reception. So pushing Resovia to 5 is a pretty good performance. And then the other one that the Discord was just up in flames about, people were calling Warszawa 3-2 over Luke Lublin the match of the year so far.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't watch that one. It wasn't on my radar of ones to watch, but I saw the Discord as well call that one the match of the year, and that's pretty surprising.
Yeah. I mean, Warszawa is good. That is a very good team on paper.
Yeah.
We like Jan Firle. Bartłomiej Bołądź, this match was insane. 17 for 34, plus 5 aces for the big lefty. Like that's sick. Yeah, Yuri Semeniuk, the big Ukrainian backup middle, very good. Andrei Verona, very good. Igor Grabelny off the bench, 15 for 20 and 2 aces for 17 points in like 2.5 sets. In for Artur Shalpuk. Like, that is sick. That's an awesome performance. And
that's
still,
I really like that switch though. Grabelny for Shalpuk. Like it's a very like you're almost getting the same thing, just a slightly different look.
Yeah, very similar players. So I like that move. I like that option that they have. But still, like Luke Lublin, a team that I don't really know that much about, able to push him to 5 and like apparently looked really good in doing so.
But Lublin has like remember they went on that like 11-game run last year.
Yeah, they were really good at the end of last year.
But they've been good, really good. Like they're 5-2 so far this season. I mean, like one of the losses is against Warszawa. The other one is against Lviv, which is a little bit of interesting. But like they beat Skra, they beat Kuprom, they beat Gdansk, they just beat Suwałki. So I mean, they haven't really played any of the big teams. Skra was the first one that they played, but they did pretty well. So yeah, good job so far by Lublin. I thought they were going to take a bit of a step back, and they lost some of their guys, but they're still able to get the job done a little bit.
Yeah, I also like Marcin Komenda at center. I think he's underrated. Yeah. And they have Thales, the Brazilian libero, on that team, kind of randomly.
And Alexander Ferreira,
Portuguese guy, right? Yeah, he was good this game. 21 points, 19 for 49, and 2 aces. This
is the team that Scherzen was on last year, right?
Right. Yeah, Scherzen, Jendrik, and Dustin Watton.
Yeah.
Were all there last year.
So,
damn, Damian Schultz is a guy I've never liked. I do not like that guy. No.
What a surprise.
Played opposite for the Polish national team for a hot second and was not very good and very annoying to watch play style wise.
Fair enough.
So other than that, like the midweek last week games, no surprises. Yeah, Olsztyn over Norwid. Zawiercie 3-donged Lviv. Gdansk beat Skra. Zaksa beat Katowice. Yeah, whatever. So, however, then there was this round of games where there was kind of more of the same. Resovia 3-donged Olsztyn. We were talking to Eric last week that their Zaksa's game against Charny Rodham was the first of like a block they were really focused on. But I was like, why are you focused on Charny Rodham? They're terrible. You're going to beat them 3-0. Sure enough.
No, but I respect that he was focused on Charny Rodham because he's a professional.
Yeah, Eric is a professional. That's right.
You don't want Eric and Zaksa to be going in and being like, man, like, I don't know what to do here, blah, blah, blah, all this stuff. Like, no, you want them going in. You're going to pay respect to every single team. You're going to play well against every single team. Now, Rob, you know that there's one game here that I do want to talk about with my rose red color tinted glasses, and that's going to be Chetovo. How do you pronounce it? Can you
say Norvid? It's Norvid.
Okay, Norvid. Let's just stick with that. Norvid's 3-1 win over Skra. That was a big one. I know the Discord was really popping off about it yesterday. And then, of course, Byron Keterakis with the good old MVP.
11 points for a setter.
But this is what he does, baby.
Yeah.
This is what he does. It's what he always does. He did it in Germany. He did it back at UBC, right? And the people in the Discord were saying the same thing. Like, Byron does a lot of good things. Setting isn't necessarily one of them, right? Like, he is very much like, if I was going to have to liken Byron Keterakis to anyone, is that he's Tim Tebow, right? His mechanics are a little bit off. He's a little bit weird. He finds different ways to score. He motivates the guys around him. He's not super religious by any means or anything like that. So like that's not the comparison that I make whatsoever. But he just gets the job done. And I couldn't be happier for the guy. Also, Norvid looking not too bad. As the team coming up from the Tornliga or the second.
The Tornliga is the women's league. Yeah, they call it the one dot Liga, which is the second league. I don't understand how that works.
There was a moment where the women's league and the second league were both sponsored by Torn. So yeah. I just can't follow it sometimes. But yeah, like coming up, they've been doing good.
Norvin's kind of good. So like Byron Keterakis, 5 aces, 4 kills, 2 blocks for 11 points as a setter. Like that's sick. But like our friend Adonos was telling us in the PlusLiga preview, he likes Norvid and likes their roster to stay in the PlusLiga. And one big reason why is David Dulski, the opposite that played.
Dulski, yeah.
He's on loan from Zavierce this year. 20 points, 18 for 42, a block and an ace. He's really good. And that like an opposite like that for a lower tier team can single-handedly keep you in the league. And I think he's really rock solid. And then yes, on the Skra side, this is a very uninspired roster that I know that Skra as an organization made a lot of big changes. They fired their president, Piacenza, finally. They're in the process of building back up to the club that they used to be. But right now they're just not talented enough to be like a relevant PlusLiga team. It just is the way it is.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's sad, really. Like that's like Skra is a legendary team. It's a legendary club.
Yep.
It's one of the first professional clubs I was aware of, as a teenager growing up. Right? Like to me, Skra is on the level. Like when I compare, like Skra is on the level almost like of like a Manchester United type of level. Like they're a Champions League team that I recognize and that everyone can recognize. So that to see them having this kind of output is really sad. It really is.
I think they'll figure it out. Firing the chairman or whatever last year was the right move, and they'll keep pushing it in the right direction. Those 2 matches at the bottom, by the way, the PlusLiga didn't update the graphic, but they did happen. Zavierce 3-dong Kuprum Lubin, and Luke Lublin 3-dong Suwałki. So another friendly reminder that Kuprum Lubin and Luke Lublin are different teams. So 2 different teams.
Yeah, Lubin and Lublin.
Right. 2 different teams.
Did we see? I'm just double checking. Did we see Klevno? We did see Klevno for Zavierce, 12 points.
Yeah, they're playing they've got their full lineup now, and I'm very excited about it. I mean, yeah, Butrin, Tavares, Klevno, and Kvolek, Biniak in the middle, and then either of Shalako or Zniszczo as the other middle. It doesn't really matter. And then Luke Perry at libero, who's awesome. So like this is the Zavierce that I picked to win the PlusLiga on our preview that we did. This is the team that we thought that we were going to see throughout the year, with Sam Cooper occasionally serving off the bench, and they're really good, and I really like them.
First and foremost, belated birthday to Luke Perry. It was his birthday yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Some of the pictures that some of these players were posting about Perry were just hilarious. So shout out to the best Australian libero that we know. And then also, I had something else to say, and I just can't remember. So I guess it really wasn't that important.
So check out the PlusLiga standings. We still have 2 winless teams: Charny Rodham and Katowice. Just not good. Not good starts the season for both those teams. And I will say that in our PlusLiga preview, we were right about both of them.
Yes, I am pulling a little bit more for Rodham. I mean, I think it's
Brody
just
Hofer.
Like a team. Yeah, Brody Hofer, and I think it's just a team that's kind of been there for as long as I can remember, really.
Yeah, I don't remember a league without Charny Rodham, as far as I know. I don't know, but I can't say I paid the most attention to the bottom half of the PlusLiga. Well, a lot more attracted to the teams that are currently in playoff position right now.
That makes sense.
Let me see what they've got coming up this week, if there's anything good. Skra versus Warszawa probably won't be great. I know a lot of these teams are playing Champions League this week. Zavierce versus Lublin is a decent game. Lublin's hot and Zavierce is good. Zaksa versus Barkom Lviv after Zaksa plays Champions League tomorrow. Resovia versus Norvid might be okay. I don't know. Olsztyn versus Katowice, probably not. Yeah, tough round. Round 8 for the PlusLiga is not the best schedule. But, I mean, Resovia, let's see, who are the 3 Champions League teams? Resovia, JSW, and Zaxa, all playing Champions League tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, Champions League is really the play here.
This week, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not watching anything else but playing Champions League.
I'm excited about it. Let's quickly talk about the Sultanlar Ligi and the FLR Ligi. We've got the standings for both. The Sultanlar Ligi actually has matches going on right now, so they're not updated in these standings here that you see. But Vakifbank beat THY 3-1 earlier today, which is a pretty good game. And then Nilüfer is played in Aydın right now, and they're tied 1-1, and that's a pretty good game as well. Those 2 teams are pretty much tied in the standings. But last couple of days, there were a couple decent results. I mean, Aydın beat Murat Pasha in 5, 3-2, 15-11 in the 5th.
That one surprised me a little bit because I know Murat Pasha has been kind of, pumping it up a little bit. And I mean, they've got Eczacıbaşı this weekend too. So that is going to be a good one. But yeah, I was kind of expecting Murat Pasha to not blow through Aydın, but definitely get a dub there. But just shows us, like, are we starting to see the Sultanlar Ligi have a little bit more parity? Because even teams like Besiktas brought in like Celeste Plaque and Emily Maglio and stuff like that. They're down in 11th. So are we starting to see some of that parity even out a little bit across the Sultanlar League?
It looks like it, and that's cool because even this Kuzeboro team in 4th, I know very little about. They just beat Besiktas in 5, who's down in 11th. So yeah, that parity after the top 3, there seems to be a lot more going on there. So I actually really like it. It's been a lot more fun to follow along with than usual. However, like Vakifbank, Fenerbahce, and Eczacıbaşı still are untouched except against one another. Eczacıbaşı 3-donged the life out of Galatasaray. That was not even close. Same with Vakifbank over Ankara PTT, who I don't know very much about.
No, PTT has always been has always been a lower.
Yeah,
lower level team.
They're pretty rough.
So Besiktas did finally get a win against Karayolari.
Yeah, Karyolara is 0-8.
Yeah.
So that definitely makes sense. Vakifbank over THY is a good win. Fenerbahce beat Sarıyer this morning. Ankara PTT beats Jukurova.
Who's setting for THY? Because these offensive numbers are not the greatest. Reich was 18 for 47.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Well, it appears to be. Makris is on the roster, so if it's not, okay. Yeah, they've got Kira Van Rijk, they've got Julia Bergman. Like, yeah, I was hoping for more out of that roster.
It looks like Kaliskan Silla. I don't know that player.
Yeah, she's a 1996 Turkish setter. Don't know anything about her.
Okay.
All right, that's about it that I have there, honestly. And then in the FLR League on the men's side in Turkey, the team that had the best week was Fenerbahce, the men, who we brought up earlier. Fenerbahce beat Ziraat Bank in 5, 15-13 in the 5th last I think Wednesday, and then they beat Arkas İzmir in a 3-dong, 17, 28-26, then 25-19. So Fenerbahce is on a bit of a heater. Them and Halkbank are the only undefeated teams in the league.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
because like who's on this Fenerbahce roster? Dick Koy. 29 points for Dick Koy.
I think Drazen Luburic is there too.
Drazen Luburic, he had 22. But Dick Koy went 22 for 37 with only 1 error and got blocked 3 times. He had 3 blocks and 4 aces.
Damn, turning back the clock on that one. I mean, Dick Koy is 36. He is 36 years of age.
If Dick Koy would have been able to do that last year, Skra would have made the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, that's a banger of a match right there. I mean, I actually kind of like this Fenerbahce roster. Luburic on the right, Dick Coy, Nikolai Penchev, and then Yeet Gulmazolu, the guy who played for Hawkbank last year. As 3 outsides, like that's a pretty good little trio. I don't know very much. They've got that Jelve guy from Iran in the middle who actually is pretty good and is young. And Berkay in the chat says that Murat Yenipazar is by far the best Turkish setter. So I'm going to have to keep my eye out on that because I know Berkay is very low on Arslan Eksi. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Not the greatest match for Matt Anderson and Zerot Bank in this one. Anderson was 6 for 19, 0% efficiency. He did get 4 aces, though, for 10 points in 5 sets. Not the greatest there by Anderson. But Wouter Termat, on the other hand, 27 for 43 and 32 points in this one. He kept Zerot Bank alive because even Camejo, like Zerot Bank was really bad on the outside. Camejo only had 13 points as well.
So why is Luciano Vicentin not playing for that team?
I don't know.
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
What are they doing? What are they doing bringing the guy over like that? That Vicentin is a big name and a big prospect who's already like good for his national team. Like what?
But also, like you have 2 guys out here who are struggling.
Yeah,
like struggling.
And then
I know they're both.
You have Benny Twinstra as well. Like they have 4 good outside hitters, and they're playing the. I mean, you should play Matt Anderson, but I don't know about Oriol Camejo, especially with reception.
I mean, no, you shouldn't play Matt Anderson if he's going 6 for 19 and scoring 10. He's averaging 2 points. Like, you know, like he's been really good at times this season. But Berkay, I'm seeing you in the chat. You're just putting the coach's name. Give us the lowdown because this Kavaz Mustafa guy seems to be on the Stoogechev level of Stooge out here.
We've got some.
How can that be anything like that? You've got Twinstra. You're playing what is a lesser team. You've got Twinstra and Vincentine, and you refuse to go to them.
Kavaz is conservative coach. He trusts his OGs way too much. Okay, interesting. Well, who does Zerot Bank play in Champions League this week? It might be like Nakru Solare.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, Nakru Solare in Belgium. And I would like to see Zerot Bank take care of business there. That actually is a low-key upset potential match to watch.
I feel like Kanak Rosolari, like if we've learned anything from the Belgian teams, I'm like, this is a team that can pop off at any.
Hey, you know who Nak Rosolari has?
Who's that?
Diego Gonzalez, the Mexican opposite from last year's World Championship.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was going there. Ooh, okay.
Keep your eyes out on that match. Keep your eyes out on that match, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eye on Rosolari versus Zerot. I think it's Thursday. Keep your eyes out for that. Yeah, Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. I've got my eye on that match.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. Honestly, I think that's a show. I have nothing else to talk about the Turkish leagues, or I was looking through for some headlines from any of the other leagues like France, Germany, whatever, and I just didn't really find much. Didn't find much to talk about for this week. So I think that might be about it.
Yeah, I think so. Guys, make sure to head over to thatvolleyballstore.com.
Yes.
That'll have to get changed up. I literally bought the new. It should be up now. Actually.
It is. Yeah, the new link is in the description.
Okay.
So thatvolleyballstore.com, and the store is live. The link does work. I didn't see any of the new stuff yet, but that will be up there very soon.
It should be up. I'll double check. And I'll also post some pictures of the new stuff in the Discord.
Yep. And the Volleyball Source Discord is the best online volleyball chat community in the world. The link for that is in the description as well. We can also help you with how to watch some games. So get in there. We'll be talking a lot about Champions League. Men's Champions League starts tomorrow. If you need any more of a full detailed preview on Men's Champions League, go back to last week and watch our preview that we did with Eric Shoji, featuring one of the all-time most insane moves that he pulled in the history of this channel. That was awesome.
I'm upset. He was just like, I don't want you to think that, like, you know, this is like a cool move to pull out the trophy. First of all, no, that's awesome.
This is awesome.
But that might single-handedly be my favorite moment ever on this show.
Yeah, that was so great.
Just like Shoji just like reaching behind, pulling out the Champions League trophy. Amazing. All-time amazingness.
Yeah, that was great. So yeah, go watch that as a primer for Champions League. It starts tomorrow. We'll see you in the Discord. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our American viewers. It is American Thanksgiving on Thursday. So I'll be on the road a little bit this weekend, but I'll be watching a lot of Champions League tomorrow, and we'll be back next Tuesday, same time, same place.
Yes, we will. Make sure to join us on the Discord. Make sure to watch some ball with us tomorrow, and head over to thatvolleyballstore.com. It's gonna take a couple of weeks, Rob. To also, where's Daddy? Rob, show me where Daddy is.
I will. All right, people. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.